I guess I guess so. Dang, they must have declined my credit card again. Um, all right. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if this will be recorded or not, but if it is, it'll be great. I'm sure of that. It'll probably become a bestseller. So it said for some reason it was not going to announce it, but I'm announcing it. This is being recorded. And can you guys see my screen? Apparently not. Let me That's pretty bad. Let me see if I can share my other screen. It'll look better than my face, I'm sure. Now, do you see my screen? Okay, okay, there we go. I do not know. I don't see that on my screen. Uh, that is not my computer. Okay, well, I'm going to start through the agenda items. Hopefully, you can see those. The first item, I just want to chat about how many of you attended the Dealing with Difficult People webinar? Anybody? Okay. Uh, so all of you guys have been through the servant leadership class, and it was kind of a discussion about some of the things there about doing a, a moment of truth and about when it was appropriate to do that sort of thing. Like if somebody engages in behavior that's unacceptable, that doesn't fit with the COS values, those things need to be addressed. And then if you have somebody that's a district captain or a volunteer activist that has made commitments to do things and they're not following through, not meeting their expectations, that's a good time to just sit down with them, have a face-to-face conversation. Ideally face-to-face, if not at least face-to-face on the computer, and talk about the issue and try to find out what's going on with them as to uh, what the expectation was, and what happened, why it wasn't met, whatever. If you have questions about that, or you want some help with something like that, you want another person to meet with you with that person, I can do that. I can be available for that to assist if you so desire. Anyway, next thing up there is about county captains. Uh, I think I mentioned this last week, but if you have a region, which Vicky, you do, and Thomas, you do in particular, Larry, somewhat true. I guess really all three of you. If your region encompasses multiple counties within a particular House district, and you want to designate somebody as like a county captain for that particular county that won't cover the entire state House district, but will really focus their effort in that one county, you can do that, and you can assign them as a district captain or a DC team, however you want to do it. But it's a way to spread the work around a little more so that you have a person that really has to focus only on one county instead of on the whole legislative district, if that situation fits. So tomorrow night is the state leadership forum. And don't know how many of you got a chance to listen to Dale's state director report, the video that he posted. Somebody watched that yet? Nobody? I think there's a link in the general channel on Slack. Encourage you to watch that. That's where Dale goes over some of his state reports that normally would have been on the state call, but he's doing that via video. So on the leadership forum tomorrow night will be most of an hour to have a back and forth discussion among everybody that's on the call. And again, we're inviting all the district captains, obviously region captains, everybody that has an assigned role, including volunteer activists. We usually get about 20 people on those state calls. There's really no good reason why we shouldn't have 40 people on there. If we get all 20 district captains, everybody that's on some kind of a state leadership team, and a few like volunteer activists and so forth, uh, would like to try to get 30 or 40 people on there. So if you have people in your, that you have connection with, I would encourage you to remind them that we're having that leadership forum. It'll be an opportunity for them to ask questions, make comments, whatever they want to do. They'll really have an opportunity to participate. Now, next thing is that we have the state planning meeting this Saturday. So I double check. Will you guys be there, Vicky and Larry? Good. I know Dale, you'll be there. I'll be there. Thomas, is that you pretty much locked in at home for the? Okay, so you'll be on the video link. Well, the plan is to have it live streamed on Zoom so that people who are not physically present can not only watch but also participate. So we're going to have a panel discussion, and I think I've talked about this before, but if you guys have questions about that, let me know. But I will be asking each of you questions about things like what did you do in the last year that worked the best? Uh, what did you try that maybe didn't work well? And what lessons did you learn from that? We want to think about the act, learn, adjust that we all learned about in the uh, servant leadership training. How can we learn? What can we apply that and spread those lessons out to other people who will be at the meeting or connected via the call? Next item up, you see in the LMT, we've got 10 people in the queue as volunteer activists. We have 4 people who are district captain applicants, plus 4 that are open and in process. We have 2 that are in onboarding as well. So I'm not sure what's going on with those onboarding. Let me take a quick look and see if we can see who those are. Yeah, Rich Jeffries. Larry, do you think we're going to be able to fly with him, or should we go ahead and reject him? Okay. Okay. Well, if he doesn't, follow through and come up, you can go ahead and I would recommend that you reject him. Remember that okay. Yeah, if he isn't on the call tomorrow, let's reject him. If he changes his mind, wants to get active, you can just go back into the LMT, find his rejected application, and reactivate it. Open it up again. So, and then I'm not sure what's going on with Andrea Yoho, who I guess that was just about a week or so ago that she got into onboarding status. So, won't worry too much about her. Uh, Important thing here is that if anybody shows up in the LMT, you want to try to make it a point to contact them within 3 days. Really, sooner is better. The first day you see that somebody has applied, be a good day to try to reach out to them. Sometimes people say, call them before 10 a.m. or whatever it is. If you can't call them that day or the next day, why, I want to for sure get with people as quickly as possible and try to connect with them and try to, begin building a relationship with them, engage them, let them know that we are interested in having them. And people that apply for a role typically have some motivation to be an activist. And we want to let them know that the Convention of States is the vehicle for them to be an activist and meet their desires for that. And there's a note I put on here. The first one is we had a discussion about this, I think, a time or two in the past. National has kind of mixed ideas about this, but our region director, Brenda Carlin, is okay with us to assign a COS action email address to any person who has an assigned role, including volunteer activists. So we want to get volunteer activists into Slack so that we will hopefully be able to communicate with them on a regular and frequent basis and get them engaged. So it works best if they come into Slack with a COS action email address from the beginning. And we can assign them to bring them into Slack, invite them in with another email address. And there is a way to merge that or whatever and change over to a COS action email address later. But it just simplifies things, according to my understanding, if we bring them in with a COS action email address. And anybody that becomes a volunteer activist, and pretty much anybody, once they've signed the volunteer agreement, we want to invite them, tell them about Slack and invite them to come in and get engaged and uh, ask them to be available to Steve Perrine for training so that he can walk them through really how to use Slack. Uh, because we have people coming into Slack. Some of them have used it, in their job or other places, but a lot of people, most people come in without ever having used Slack. And so for them to get the most out of it, we want to invite them into Slack and get them into the training. Any questions? Steve, Steve Perrine, Perrine, and you can message him in Slack and uh, I would direct message him and tell him you've got, John Doe, new volunteer that needs training in Slack, and give Steve their phone number and email address, and he will, he should pick it up and take it from there. you should let Larry Hartman know, and he will add them to the training sheet, whether it is the district captain training sheet or the volunteer activist training sheet. And all the people that are assigned now as volunteer activists, I think Steve is contacting them. But any of them that are in your region, if you have any connection with them, or even if you don't, it'd be good to contact them. Tell them we'd like to get them active on Slack and invite them in, explain to them how it's used, and see if they'll come in and get active. Dale, did you have a comment about that? Okay. Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to find one that has not signed it. Yeah, let me find you one. I'll show you where it is. Uh, in the LMT. I must have something. Let me see if there should be a bunch of people in here. Well, that maybe she's just the only one that's open. Uh, okay, let me pull this up and you should be able to see it. Uh, so in the LMT, if they have applied for a role, you notice this little hourglass here, volunteer agreement is signed. If you click this send request box, it should automatically send them one to their email address. And what I recommend is you click that maybe when you're on the phone with them and ask them to check their email, check the spam, whatever, and see if they can find it. And I don't know, Thomas or Dale, you have another idea if they can't find it that way, how else we can get it to them? Okay. And it's likely to be in one of those then, so they should be able to find it and sign it and return it. Right. And I think if you click that little hourglass, will that, or no, there's another process for sending them the account confirmation email again. And again, it's a good idea if you can do that when you're on the phone with them, help them find it and confirm their account. Oh, really? Never heard that before. That's good to know. That would be an easier way to do it. If they go to their account, just log in to COS or conventionstates.com account and log in, that should confirm their account. And that'd be a great thing to have them do anyway. Encourage them to get in the habit of doing that on a regular basis. So anybody, in order to even to be a telepatriot volunteer, people need to sign the volunteer agreement. We want to get as many people sign that agreement. Become a telepatriot volunteer is very, encourage them to do that. They're trying to build a large team of telepatriot volunteers because come sometime in October, we're going to be doing the full court press to get out the vote. And so we may be making calls either here in Indiana or some other states to encourage people to get out and vote. And we need as many telepatriot volunteers as we can. That's going to be big for us. And if somebody signs a volunteer agreement and expresses interest in being like whatever their role may be, again, I want to encourage those folks to get into Slack and get trained on how to use Slack. Okay. Yeah, we will all find it eventually. Uh, yeah, I will have to look at my email in a bit and see, but I assume it's there. Um, I unsubscribed yesterday from one time consuming email, and I'm trying to get off a few more lists. Uh, so I made the note there about the COS Action email address. Also, remember, as a region captain, you need to make sure that new volunteers, district captains, etc., get put on the training sheet for their role, and make sure that they get connected with Steve Perrine for Slack training. Okay. I think I would give the information to Steve and ask him to make the contact with them. I think he's pretty good about being proactive about reaching out to people. Wouldn't you say, Dale? Okay. Yeah. Just a quick update. The number of assigned people we have, district captains, is 19. Last week or two ago, I think it was at 20. District captain team was at 33. Now it's at 34. So we got a lot of people on the DC team that either are past district captains or people in training. We want to make sure that you look at the people in your region on that Indiana training sheet and make sure you try to mentor those people through to get them through to the finish. Uh, it's easy for people to get stalled and get stopped, but if you want to reach out to them and find out what the holdup is, try to figure out, if they need help, guidance, or something like that, and keep it moving along. But in any case, we've got to be proactive on that. That's good. That's one of the things Brenda looks at and dings us regularly if we do not have 100% people active. So that's a little gold star for the state of Indiana that we were 100% active. So, anybody have any other questions, comments, things you want to chat about? Here's your chance, Thomas. Right. Okay. Okay. I saw your note, Thomas. Yep. He is. David Todd. Okay. 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 I think I'm going to order an FBI background check. So that means Dale's going to talk to him. Well, um, for who? Oh, yeah. If you have somebody that uh, is really does not want to do a whole legislative district, and maybe I had talked to some people that were really connected into their local county politics, and the House district really encompassed like two counties. And so, kind of, it occurred to Thomas and to me that, and apparently National has done this in other states, or other states are looking at it the same way. They're assigning somebody a district captain role. We're really only expecting them to engage politically on their own county level and not necessarily the whole district. Okay. Let me look at my map. Yeah. Well, let me look at that. Yeah. Well, okay. So House District 79, pretty much all of Adams County is in that. Looks like all of Wells County and just one tier of four uh, townships from J County. So if you had somebody that wanted to be a district captain, but they really only wanted to focus on Adams County, that would be okay. And particularly if they want to engage more locally, like with school board, county council, things like that, and be an activist more at that level than necessarily connecting with their state rep and their state senator. You could use that district captain role or DC team role to give them an assigned role, but you don't have the expectation that they're necessarily going to cover the whole district. Yeah, they're really like a county captain. They're okay. So you're going to assign them in the LMT, you're still going to assign them either district captain or DC team. National does not have any way of assigning people by county. So this is something that just in your mind, this person is a county captain. You could make a note in the LMT that even though this person is assigned as a district captain or as DC team, you're looking at them as a county captain in that particular county. Make sense? Okay. Yep. So in other words, that's a good idea. You could assign her to, district captain team, for example, and ask her just to do Wells County. If she becomes, more comfortable in the role and wants to expand and also do, Adams County and the county of those, part of J County, she could do that. But you could start her out saying, I just want you to worry about Wells County. You'd want her to go through the regular district captain training. It's okay. We have a number of people that are like that. No, that's a great point. So one of the things to think about this, a non-passed state is focused really on their state legislature. But as a passed state, we want to dive more down into the more local issues and we want people to engage locally and become politically active. And that's where it makes a lot of sense to do that in your county or in your town. So, like Larry, you've got multiple towns within that region, and you might have people that have lived in that town for years. They know all the people on the city council or whatever it is. They've been kind of engaged. They know what's going on locally. You could assign them to, the DC team, but tell them they don't have to worry about covering the whole House district. You just want them to focus on being active in that local area. And that's how we find out, what's going on in the local school board or in the city council or county council. And that's the whole idea of that road to activism that Marty has put together. Is a lot of that is the idea of getting a network of people who are paying attention to what's going on in their local community. And it's how we can identify if this county is starting to do something crazy, we can draw all of our activists together and push back. But if we don't know what's going on locally, we can't really do that. And so the more local focus we have, I think the stronger our organization can be. Because Marty has a whole different set of expectations for people that are on the legislative team. I mean, if they want to do that, because that legislative team, again, is still focused heavily on the state representatives and state senators, whereas a DC team that's just assigned to a city or a county is focused more locally, not on those state elected officials. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. And so, if you have a district captain and they want to recruit volunteers, it's a great way to recruit is say, you can be part of this team, but all you have to focus on is like your city or your county, or they can make it even smaller than that and say, if somebody's just really interested in just focusing on the school board meetings in their school, school board area, that's fine too. Bring them on the, yeah. And really, when we're interviewing people that want to be volunteer activists, we need to try to find out if there's something that's particularly of interest to them to do. And if it's, you know, if they want to, be big time and have a statewide role, great. But a lot of people are really engaged more locally, know what's going on, and yeah, those are the people we want. More people engaged on a local and city level. Mm. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Larry. We should talk about that Saturday at the planning meeting. I think Marty is planning to have a enough of those um, trifold brochures that Dale is talking about available to hand out to everybody who's there. And once you bring that up, that we could add like city captain or county captain to that. And if there's physically room on the page for adding something, we could add that on there because I think that's something that might have a great appeal to a lot of people. Yes. So if you have somebody like that Carla you mentioned, if she has interest in coming to the meeting, she's invited. And bring them both. Right. Yeah. Should be in Slack uh, under the events channel and the general channel both. Yeah. And same thing if they can't come in person, but they could connect to the Zoom even for part of it, invite them. So there will be free coffee and free lunch. I don't know about donuts. Okay. Really? That's awesome. I had not heard that. Pretty remarkable accomplishment. Yep. Yeah. He uh, he has been a regular. I know he goes, I think, to the Y regularly and exercises. And yes, he walks and yeah, he's changed his eating habits, I'm sure. But yeah, that's terrific. Hmm. Hmm. Well, it's an accomplishment. It's a goal he set and he achieved it. That, yeah, so that's a good idea. When you see him Saturday, you can say, Dale, have you lost some weight? So anyway, uh anything else anybody has for the good of the order? Dale and I have another meeting starting in 10 minutes, so it's probably time to wrap up here. Okay. 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 Paul Phillips and his family. Yeah.